Nah, I didn't spill it. I didn't spill it. I do have my Cinco de Mayo drink though. Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. So if you can hear me, let me get a thumbs up. Let me get a thumbs up. Make sure my sound is good, because I don't want to repeat of what happened earlier today. And if you didn't see my Instagram story, I'll give you a little story time to start the stream. A little backlog of how my day went earlier today. Okay, so if you don't know, I did the video earlier today talking about the Ravens run game versus versus the Dolphins, the first week of the season, and I talked about them running power to start the season off and got like a 49-yard gain, and then came back with split zone and got 11-yard gain by Gus, and then ended the that drive with power again and a touchdown by Ingram. So in doing that, if you don't know, I've been playing Madden and Call of Duty on on my PlayStation. So I use the same mic, same headphones that I'm using right now in the PlayStation. So I go through the video, I chop it up, get the plays I want. I go through and I kind of edit the different drawings and whatnot on it in the little low budget software I have to do it on. And so I talk through this video, how I voice over stuff. And I think I have a good quality video. So I finish it and I go to edit it, get all the kinks out and why I messed up and why I stopped and things like that. And I realized, well, I can't hear. Why I can't hear? So I take the headphones out of the PlayStation, put them back in the computer, and that's when I realized I recorded this whole video with no sound. So now I have video, mouse on the screen, talking about different things, doing different stuff, and no sound. So I proceed to upload it to Premiere Pro, and I chop it up. Takes me probably longer to chop it up than it would have if I just re-recorded the video. But with that being said, I think I did a decent job of editing my mistake and fixing it. And the video you got earlier today was the result of my Tuesday Cinco de Mayo morning, which I immediately went and got some stuff for tacos and burritos and some Coronas. So that's where I am now. But I want to welcome you guys to be here. Obviously, you can hear me because I'm getting a little reaction in the chat box. I appreciate you guys coming through. Tuesday nights 9 o'clock. That's our spot. And for the most part, that's what we're gonna keep vibing at. Tuesday night 9 o'clock, and Friday night vibes if we have enough to talk about. So for those of you that don't know, for questions with Coach, in order to get your question in, you send an email to siptotally@gmail.com. That way I'll get your email, I can put it in the backlog, and answer it today. Like I got 2 sets of questions I'm going to answer here in a minute, and I appreciate those guys for constantly sending stuff in and giving me an opportunity to talk to you guys and just vibe with you. So with that being said, our sub count right now we're at 3,916. And I want to say thank you guys for being here, being part of that number. But I also want you guys to help me help that number grow. So with that being said, I would like for everybody that get a chance to listen to it, whether you're live or you're listening to it on the back end, to, if you're not subscribed, subscribe. And if you are subscribed, share it with somebody that enjoys football. And it don't have to be a Ravens fan. Somebody that enjoys just talking football and football knowledge and content. Just share it with them. Share it with them. Don't force it on them. Just share it with them. Say, hey, I know XYZ. And he talk about XYZ. And if you like football, it might be something you might like. All right? Because we all look for something new to pick up on. And YouTube has kind of turned into my TV. I rarely watch TV. Rarely now. Except for the Jordan documentary. I'm on top of that. That takes me back to my childhood. But again, we're at 3,916. Want to get to 4,000 probably in the next 2 to 3 months. And so, for me to get to 4,000, I'm going to need you guys' help. And I appreciate you guys. Appreciate it. All right. Next on the docket, shout outs. I got 16 people in here. I got a couple commenting. 86 Ghosts was good. Carlo, big trust. Carlo's always here. Baja, I talked about the Pernell McPhee signing. Old Maui is here. And Arrow's here also. So I appreciate you guys with that. Next thing. Ways to support, because people ask me about that all the time. We have the Cash App and the PayPal on the screen. The Patreon and the Super Chats. You know how to do that stuff. That's old news. But any way you want to support, I appreciate it. And anytime you support and I see it instantly, I'll give you some instant feedback. If not, I always give it to you on the back end. And I got some stuff that I'm doing for my Patreon subscribers also that's going to be just for them. And I also probably going to have another Patreon giveaway soon. I had one 2 months ago, looking to have a second one. So I'm probably going to do that in the next couple of days. That's what I'm going to do. The next couple of days, I have another Patreon giveaway and send out some Sip the Tally merch, some Ravens Roundup merch or or no block, no rock merch, something like that. All right. With that being said, let's dive into these two questions with Coach I have. Or these two sets of questions with Coach. Bob Tube, what's good? Random, what's good? Andy Rogers, what's up? Thomas Morgan, I see you. And CJ, what's good with you? All right. So first set of questions is from Luis Patino. He says, "Do you think Trubisky can be good on another team other than the Bears?" I think Mitchell Trubisky is in the line of quarterbacks that's going to help the NFL evolve away from the standstill guy, because Trubisky can move. He's athletic enough to do things other than just sit there and be a stand back quarterback, or drop back quarterback. Is what I mean, drop back quarterback. So he's going to be a part of the evolution of the NFL quarterbacks. And as we see this evolution starting, Mitchell was kind of here before Lamar and Mahomes. I don't know if he came in the same draft class as Mahomes, but Mitchell can move. Mahomes can move. Obviously, Lamar can move. Deshaun can move. I don't really want to put Cam in this group because Cam's an older guy and we don't really know how healthy Cam is. But it's obvious that Cam can move. Aaron Rodgers can move. Drew and Tom Brady are probably two, and maybe the coach QB9 that was in San Diego for so long, Phillip Rivers. They're probably the last of the Mohicans and just straight standstill quarterbacks. Because let's look at the guys that were drafted early this year. You got Joe Burrow, Love, Herbert, and Tua. Out of those four, Tua is probably the less mobile, and Tua will get out the pocket and do things he needs to do. But Herbert, his game against Wisconsin, he ran a lot in his bowl game. We know Joe can move because Joe makes better throws outside of the pocket, or just as good throws outside of the pocket that he does inside the pocket. Jordan Love makes these off the wall, off balance throws, kind of like Aaron Rodgers, and we know Tua is Tua. Tua is almost like a robot. He gonna do his RPO reads. He gonna put the ball where it needs to be, especially when he got guys getting open as frequently as his guys did at Alabama. But as far as going back to answer the question, I think he could be good with the Bears. I really do. If they buy into it and give him some weapons, because he got one of the most underrated players on the team with him, Tariq Cohen. One of the most underrated guys in the NFL, Tariq Cohen from HBCU. I think it's North Carolina A&T. That's an animal. Kids and a straight up animal. They got to find ways to give him the ball. That's it. Find ways to give him the ball. Next question. Next question. Where is it? It's from Luis also. If my thumbprint works, there you go. Do you think A.J. Dillon is a good fit for Green Bay? Green Bay had a power runner. I think it's Aaron Jones, maybe. I think it was number 33. And Dillon's just gonna be a good backup for him if that's where they're going to go. If they're trying to move off of Aaron Rodgers soon, and you got that guy who was maybe a rookie last year or 2 years ago, and then you're bringing in Dillon, which is he's a bruiser, and for that type of weather, that may be where they're trying to go. They may be trying to go to a more efficient run game because and the winters in Green Bay are notoriously cold, and we all know no receivers want to be out there catching balls in cold weather like that. They might be out there with no sleeves and trying to still be macho. I'm here to tell you, guys don't want to be out there. Not the skill guys. They do it because they get paid to do it and they want to win and play in the Super Bowl. Do they really want to be there? Heck no. That weather is made for running backs, O linemen, D linemen, linebackers. They love it. Because they close to each other the entire game. And even at the end of each play, they all huddle up and muddle together trying to warm up after the tackle. So that type of weather is made for those big hogs up front, your nasty D linemen, your head hunting linebackers, and your running backs. That's what that cold weather's for. So Green Bay may be trying to move to that because they have success in the regular season. They just hadn't had the success they want in the postseason lately. I mean, they did what? Aaron Rodgers in the Super Bowl, what, 10 years ago? So it may probably longer than that. How old? Aaron Rodgers is what, mid-30s? Because I know he set a couple years behind Brent Favre. But we still ain't seen Aaron Rodgers since they drafted Jordan Love. So Aaron Rodgers maybe, I know he's still PO'd. All right, he had a last lit comment. Says, who would have thought Thaddeus Moss would go undrafted? I could see it. I could see Moss not going drafted because the first, Cole Kmet, I think, was the top rated tight end. And he didn't go till late. I don't know exactly what round it was, but he didn't go till late. And Moss was considered to be like the 6th or 7th tight end in this draft. I know you had Cole Kmet from Notre Dame, I think. Then you had the kid from FAU. I think his name maybe was Harrison. So yeah, I can see him not going drafted, but he got picked up, and all 22 of those guys that started for them got on a team somewhere, whether it be drafted or undrafted free agent. So kudos to LSU, the Bayou Bengals. All right, my next set of questions comes from Bruno. And Bruno, I appreciate you. You know, he put a message in there every time. I appreciate you, Bruno. I didn't see him in the chat box, so I don't know if he's here or not. But Bruno, if you're here, I'm finna go through your questions. All right, this is what he said. If you had to pick one of our offensive and defensive additions this offseason, who makes us closer to raising that trophy? In other words, what new players, rookies, and free agents will have the greatest impact this year? And so to answer Bruno's question, I actually wrote my answer down because I didn't want to forget. I didn't want to be like, when that came, because that was a pretty darn good question. So as I flip my page, offensively, everybody knows I'm a huge fan of us running the ball. And I was upset that we didn't take we didn't use one of our higher picks on an interior lineman, which we eventually addressed it. But I was just upset we didn't use that because to me, and this is my opinion, not nobody else's, if we can't run the ball, it affects every other unit on the team. If we can't run the ball and we get 3 and outs, the defense plays more snaps. They get tired. They give up more yardage. Bad field position on special teams if we can't run the ball. I mean, we punting from from our minus 30 back, and the defense is giving up good field position. If we can't run the ball, it just affects the entire thing. Us running the ball predicates every other aspect of the game. So when we do run the ball, the defense come out, they're rested every series. Unless we have like a quick one-play drive or something like that. But for the most part, because we control the clock, because we run the ball, the defense is rested every series. And we move the first down. We at least get 2 to 3 first downs. So that way, if we do have to punt, we're now pinning them back, and they're 20 or in. So that helps the special team. So with all that being said, my biggest takeaway is going to be Fluker. Fluker's coming in offensively. It's Fluker. Fluker's coming in to replace Yonder, who was all pro, all everything, and I don't think I'm in the short amount of people that's saying he's future Hall of Famer. Definitely Ravens Ring of Honor, but future Hall of Famer Marshall Yonder. So, and you keep in mind, we got our 2 tackles. We got Stanley and Zeus. We got Bozeman, who played tremendously to me last year, other than a little bit of pass pro. We got 2 guys that's gonna probably battle for that center position. One who's hurt, the other one played the rest of the year after he got hurt. So that's 4 guys with experience right there. So now coming into we really had 1 battle open, right guard. And if you stick Fluker in there, now you got 5 guys with NFL experience, and we can still run the ball because Fluker's nasty. And then by nasty I mean good. Fluke was nasty. Now, he had penalty problems, and I think a lot of those penalties you got to think about it. When you block for Russell Wilson, well, I'm probably going to put my foot in the mouth because Lamar runs around too. I'm saying when you block for Russell Wilson, a lot of times you don't know where he at, and you tend to hold sometimes. But now you're playing for another guy that's going to run around a lot. But I think Lamar's run around Russell will run around behind the line of scrimmage and still try to look for stuff down the field. Lamar's a little different. If Lamar's reads or not, it's very few plays you saw Lamar just run around the line of scrimmage still trying to get it down the field. He'll run around and then take off and get what he can get. He ain't gonna just constantly zigzag behind the line, putting the offensive lineman out there hanging the offensive lineman out there to dry. And that's not on purpose. That's not on purpose. That's just them trying to find people down the field, and offensive linemen trying to block those athletic defensive linemen. They get holding calls sometimes. But him being able to run block and to go along with the other guys that we have that are experienced and I think just going to get better in jail once they get a chance to get together, I think he's going to have the biggest impact on our offense. Now, switching over to defense. He said who was the biggest free agent or draft pick that's going to have the biggest influence on defense. And I think that is Calais Campbell. Reason being because he's going to come in there, and not only can he stop the run, he can get after the quarterback. So you don't have to sub package him when it's passing downs or it's passing situations. Calais Campbell can get after the QB, and he can play the run just as good. So you're getting what you need out of both guys. So last year you had Brandon Williams and you had Pierce. Both guys are considered, air quotes, run stoppers. And then when it was third down or a passing situation, you had to take one, if not both of them, out, and then bring other guys in. Hence Jihad Ward, or Wormley, or sliding Pernell McPhee down in there, and you just had to do some stuff. Well, now with that being said, you may only have to sub one guy on that front, and that would be Brandon. That may be the only guy you got to sub. And Calais can give you 3 downs, especially if we run the ball like I just mentioned. He can give you 3 to 6 fresh downs as 100% out of him, and then you go from there. So I think Campbell's going to be the biggest impact player for us defensively. Now it may not translate in stats because defensive linemen, there's unless you're Aaron Donald or the Bosa guys or some other few elite guys, you don't get a lot of stats. The biggest stat a defensive lineman can get is constantly being double teamed. And the reason, and if you don't understand what I'm saying, go look at my Justin Matabuke film. Matabuke was doubled on almost every, well, not just look at my film, look at the game too. Matabuke was doubled on almost every play versus LSU. Almost every play versus LSU. And when he got a chance to be single blocked, a lot of times they didn't handle him. I mean, he won some, and Cushionberry won some, and Lewis won some. But when he was single blocked, he had a chance, and he won some of those matchups. But when they doubled him, I mean, his linebackers were free to run. So I think Campbell is the guy that's going to help us the most defensively and have the biggest impact here. And the second question from Bruno. When you look at our roster currently, who are your biggest sleepers and dark horses on each side of the ball? So I'm thinking he's asking who's going to be like the guy to take the next step and ball out for us. And that's the way I took it. So answering that question offensively, I think it's Boykin. I think it's Miles Boykin. If Miles Boykin steps up and be a legit number 2 receiver, this offense is going to be extremely scary. Extremely scary. If Miles Boykin steps up and can solidify that number 2 spot because of his height, his speed, and his catch radius, man. Because just let me run this scenario out there to you. The 5 linemen I mentioned to you earlier: Hollywood, Boykin, Mandrews, Ingram in the backfield, and either Ricard running some kind of run thing or our slot receiver, that competition from Duvernay, Snead, Prochet. That's a nice lineup to run out there offensively with a lot of options to do things, because you got your speed sweep stuff with maybe Duvernay and Duvernay and maybe even Hollywood can run speed sweep from time to time. Then you got your down the field stuff with Boykin and Hollywood. You got your intermediate stuff with Mandrews and Boykin. Then with Hollywood go on the top. Or if you stick Duvernay and Hollywood on the same side, they can run like double posts and clear stuff out for maybe Mandrews coming across. It's a ton ton of options out there. Ton of options out there. And keep in mind, one less guy is going to be covering those guys because you're going to have to spy Lamar. One less guy is going to be covering all that going down the field because you got to spy Lamar. And he has to be one of your more athletic guys. So you probably got to take a safety or your fastest linebacker and just sit him there and watch Lamar while all this stuff's going on down the field. That's crazy. If you throw all that together, that's if. And if was a fifth, y'all know the rest. If was a fifth, y'all know the rest. That's if Boyd can steps up and solidifies that number 2 spot. If he don't solidify that number 2 spot, I still think we're going to be an effective offense. But now you're looking at smaller guys being your 1 and 2 receivers. Well, your outside receiver, because I think we all in agreement when Mark Andrews is receiver number 1 for us. I think Mark Andrews is receiver number 1. So, matter of fact, in the comment section, y'all put who y'all think is receiver number 1, whether it be Mandrews or Hollywood, because there really ain't no other options right now. In the chat box, type Mandrews or Hollywood, and I'll kind of get a general idea of who you guys think receiver number 1 is. All right, and that answers. Oh, I got to go defensively. Defensively, that same question. And he said one person, but I got to put a slash on this. So I got 2 defensive guys. It says, who is our biggest sleepers or dark horses that's going to ball on each side of the ball? I told you offense, which I said Boykin. Defense, Harrison and Queen. They won't come in with the fanfare as well, they'll come in with the fanfare because the linebacker position was depleted, so to speak, at Baltimore. But you got stars on the back end. Earl, Peters, Marlon, dare to say Tavon with that contract. You got stars up front. Calais Campbell. Judon's probably a local star maybe. We know Judon, but I don't know if the NFL is really on notice for Judon. And so those guys just going to have to come in and do their job. If they do their job, and I think by the end of the year, both of them be starting. I don't think neither one of them may start at the beginning of the year. They'll probably get some reps and rotate in. But I think as they learn the system, as they get comfortable, as the game slows down to them and they figure out angles and pursuit angles and angles on taking on blocks and where to be on this play and how to drop and things like that. I think because they're both extremely athletic. Harrison is even more athletic than I initially thought. My Harrison video was early in the draft process. And when I went back and watched some Chase Young stuff, I saw some more athleticism out of Harrison that I didn't really pay attention to when I first did his video. And keep in mind, I don't know if you know, Harrison used to be a quarterback in high school. He was like one of those guys in high school, you just give him the ball and let him play. Like, if he could be a quarterback, he could be a receiver, he could be a DB. He played all over the place. So he wasn't always just a linebacker. So he's extremely athletic, and he's like 6'3" or something, like 6'3", 250, something like that. So he gonna bring that hammer, and he's more athletic than I gave him credit for. Queen, on the other hand, was a running back in high school. And I don't know what LSU is doing, changing these running backs to linebackers, but they're doing a good job in it. Because the kid from that Pittsburgh pick last year was a running back. I think it's Devin something. And then Queen used to be a running back. But it shows on Queen because Queen's lightning fast. Lightning fast. Lightning fast. And he can, I ain't gonna say he can cover anybody because you got guys out there like Kelsey and the tight end from Minnesota that give him DBs and linebackers fits. But I think he can cover the average tight end right now. I think he can cover the average tight end right now, and I think dropping him in coverage, he can kind of cover a wide zone too. So I think those two guys together are going to have the biggest impact on the season. Well, the dark horses, the sleeper guys. Everybody else is pretty going to do their role. Marlon going to lock people up. Peter's going to lock people up. Hopefully Tavon comes back healthy and helps with that. And Jimmy's in that mix too. I forgot about Jimmy Smith. Jimmy's in that mix too. And you got Earl on the back end, Earl, Chuck Clark, and whoever else, makes the roster as a safety. All right, with that being said, see where we at in our show. I think we're going to talk about this defensive roster a second. We'll talk about this defensive roster. We've signed. Well, let me give you this list of UDFAs we've signed so far. We signed Chauncey Rivers from Mississippi State, and I think that's a good pick. I think he may. I initially thought he might make the roster, but after the events of today, it may be tight. But we'll get into that in a minute. Michael Darius from Georgetown, wide receiver. I don't think he's gonna make it. Nigel Warrior from Tennessee. I don't think the numbers gonna work out for him. Maybe a practice squad guy. Chauncey Rivers may be a practice squad guy also, because they moved the practice squad up from 10 to 12. So it's 12 guys you can have on a practice squad. Josh Nurse, cornerback from Utah, tall, 6'3", used to be a receiver. I think he's gonna make the practice squad. Jalen Moore from University of Tennessee Martin, wide receiver. I don't think he's gonna make it. Marcus Willoughby, an edge from Elon. I don't think he's gonna make it. Pollard, a center from Clemson. Maybe a practice squad guy. Tristan Colon Castillo from Mizzou, practice squad guy. Jeff Hector from the Red Lands, a cornerback. I don't think he's going to make it. Huntley, practice squad guy. Brunson, Rick Steiner, potentially can make the roster. Potentially. I see a lot of special teams value with Rick Steiner. I see spotty fullback play with Rick Steiner because of how good Ricard is. And but I really like Rick Steiner, and you guys know it because he was the only UDFA that got his own video. Actually got a reaction video. I've never done a reaction video, and I did it for Rick Steiner. Kicker Nick Vogel, which probably the only dude in this list that knows so damn well he's not gonna make this team. With we got the GOAT for a kicker, unless something happens. Nick Vogel just gonna come in and kick in the camp, and then we'll see him when we see him. Peace. Khalil Dorsey, a cornerback from Northern Arizona, signed today, and Eli Wolf, the tight end from Georgia. Eli Wolf has a chance to make the team, and I think Breland is on his way to signing. I don't know if he just got to make his way across the country to get there to sign. Greg, yeah, Chauncey Rivers is from Last Chance U. But Breland and Wolf probably gonna fight it out for that third tight end spot. Breland was injured, but got pretty good hands. Wolf played in the SEC and was okay, but they're gonna fight it out for that third tight end spot. All right, now let's transition a little bit. Make sure I got this set up before I go to it. So when I bring this up, I ain't gonna really be able to see the chat box, so I'll come back to you guys once we go through it. I will be able to say if I move the screen over. There's more than one way to skin a cat. Let's see. Let's work with me. Work with me right here. All right, got that up. Here we go. Now we might be cooking. Make this smaller. Again, I appreciate you guys. We're gonna talk about this defensive roster. And I had to write a note to add Pernell McPhee to it because he, on this list I pulled up, he is not on it because I guess his signing was so fresh. And there may be some guys that's not on this list that you guys want to talk about too. So I can see my chat box. So I fixed that. Maybe some guys on this list that are not on this list. So make sure you put them in the chat box when we get to that position. So we're basically about to go through the defensive positionings and how many guys that potentially may make the roster. Now this is not my official predict the roster video. But we just going through it as a fam to try to see where we at. All right, now let me see if I can bring you guys in with this. All right, let's see what you guys see. Bring that up there. Get out of studio mode. All right, you guys see that pretty good. That's cool. I got it. I worked it out. All right, here we go. So with nose tackle, and what I did was I went through each position and I wrote down a number that I think is going to make the position. So pay attention. I think we're going to keep 2 nose tackles, and the way they got it listed is kind of funny because they got certain guys listed as defensive ends that we kind of consider outside linebackers. So I adjusted my count based off that. So 2 nose tackles, 3 defensive tackles, I got 6 defensive ends because some of those defensive ends are considered outside linebackers based off this website. Just off this website. 5 linebackers, 5 corners, and 4 safeties. So total that's 5, 6 is 11, plus 10 is 21. That's 25. So and what I did when I found out I did my little roster research. So they're expanding the practice squad from 10 to 12. They're expanding game day rosters 2 positions also. So you can bring 2 people from the practice squad up for your game day roster. And so potentially that's pushing your 53. It looks like it's going to 55. And that's what everybody was telling me earlier. But from what I found out, your game day roster is going up 2, but not your necessarily, and your game day roster is going up 2, and your practice squad roster is going up 2. So that's what I found. I didn't see anything that says the straight roster is going to be 55. And it maybe some research out there that I was wrong, and I may not have found the correct information. But that's what I'm going off for this right here. So if I'm wrong, we'll fix it next time. We can do the offense on Friday. All right. So we're looking for 25 guys. That's basically what I'm looking for. Because we not the other 3 pretty much solid. The long snapper, the kicker, the punter. So we're looking for 25 on offense, 25 on defense. And I know it normally don't work like that, but I do it like this for synchronicity. Did I make that word up? Synchronicity. If I did, if I didn't, it's out there now. All right. So without keep rambling about that, Brandon Williams and Justin Ellis. I think both of those guys are gonna make it. I think, and if you want to consider Mack a nose tackle, then I don't think he's gonna make it. But as far as for nose tackle, I think Brandon Williams and Justin Ellis is gonna make it. All right. So that's 2. When you go down to D tackle, and I know Washington signed his deal today. You got Mack, you got it's Brandon Washington and Justin Matabuke. So you got 2 rookies and Mack. Honestly, I think all 3 of these dudes make it at D tackle. I think all 3 of these dudes make it at D tackle. It's 55. Okay, it's 55. So we'll have leeway then. So since Troy said it's 55, we'll have leeway once I get to the end. So we'll have space for one more person, and we'll kind of do like a chat box vote on who will be that 26th person. That's what we'll do at the end. So let me write add 1. All right. So now we got 5 so far. We got the 2 nose tackles, which is Brandon Williams, Justin Ellis, and the 3 D tackles. I think all 3 of these guys will make it. No, I'm taking that back. I'm changing my mind right now. I think 2 of them make it. And the 2 I think gonna make it is Matabuke and Mack. I think Matabuke and Mack gonna make it. I think Washington is going to be a practice squad guy. So Dalen, Mack, Matabuke. So that puts us at 4. Let me get a different color pen so I won't mix my count up. All right, so let's go to defensive end. And the way they got it listed, so don't kill me. We're just going off what this website has them listed. I have 6 guys that I got going to make it for defensive end. And now keep in mind, some of these are outside linebackers too, because you see Judon and Jalen Ferguson up there too. But I got Campbell, Judon, Wolf, Ferguson, Ward, who else? And Ricard. So those are the 6 I have for defensive end. I had, keep in mind it's a numbers game, because it's somebody I'm gonna try to sneak in on offense too. That's why Ricard's making it as a defensive end. Go ahead and fair warn you. Campbell, Ricard, Judon, Wolf, Ferguson, Ward. Those are the 6 guys I got making it at defensive end. I'm going to go to linebacker. Keep in mind, some of these guys outside linebackers, some of them middle linebackers. It's just a funny way they got it named on this website. I got 5 for those guys. The 5 guys I got making it: Bowser, Fort, Harrison, Queen, and Boyd. Bowser, Fort, Harrison, Queen, and Boyd. Those are the guys I have making it. Not a huge fan of how you say it's Otara Alaka. Not a huge fan of it, but I think him and Board's going to battle it out for that last spot. But I think Board's going to win that last spot. Those are the 5 I have for those. Let's jump down to cornerback. And I got 5 guys making it for cornerback. So that's Marlon, and I think this is probably the easiest one. Marlon, Peters, Jimmy, Tavon, and Iman Marshall. Those are the guys I got making it. I think, let me make sure my count's right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, I think we're gonna move on from Avery. I really do. I think we're gonna move on from Avery. But Iman Marshall, I think he's gonna make it. And if not, Avery will make it. One of those two though. One of those two. And again, this ain't my predict. This is just thoughts for right now. So moving on to safety. Safety, I got 4 guys making it. Earl, Chuck, which are obvious choices. Levine and Deshaun Elliott. I don't think Stone's gonna make it. I really don't. I don't think Geno Stone's going to make it. I think he might be a practice squad guy. And I think this may be Elliott's last chance to show his worth. I think these 3 guys, Thomas, Clark, and Levine, are safe. I think Deshaun Elliott has to worry about Geno Stone. And if Geno Stone makes it, I don't think Deshaun Elliott makes it. So those are my 4 guys. Let me make sure my count's right, because we may have more than one. I think we got 2 that I'm going to get from you guys. So that's 2, 4, that's 10. That's 20, that's 24. So we got 2 spots left. So now I need the chat box to come in. There are 2 spots on defense, and you can think of the guys that are on the roster now, or maybe some of the UDFAs that we have that I want to add to this roster. And I'm going to take the guys that you recommend and stick them on my roster. And let's go through here and see. Oh, I did forget one. McPhee. Right here on top of my paper say, don't forget McPhee. So we're going to add McPhee to our defensive tackle. Let's say he's a defensive tackle for argument's sake. So that's 3. So now I have 1 spot. There's 1 spot that's open, and I need you guys to kind of tell me who you think is going to make it. Because I gave you all the UDFAs. And with that having that spot left, that may open up a spot for Rivers. That may open up a spot for Rivers to make it. And who else plays defense? Nigel Warrior, the safety. I don't think Nurse is going to make it. Not as a corner. Because I think we'll stick with, if Nurse make it, you might as well keep one of the guys on this list. Who else defensively? The kid from the Redlands, nuh-uh. And the kid from Northern Arizona. So I think the only guys that actually have a chance to make it off the UDFA list right now is Rivers and the safety from Tennessee, Nigel Warrior. I forgot about Daka. I did, but I haven't seen Daka play, Jonathan. I heard he's fast. He looks strong in the video I've seen of him, but I just haven't seen him play. Let's see what we get on. Stone or Rivers? Stone or Rivers, Daka, Geno Stone for special. Yeah, Geno could play special teams. This gonna be tough. I guess this is why they make the big bucks. The people that make these decisions. But we got 25, and picking that 26th person is tough. So what we got here? We got Rivers. Yeah, Geno Stone was drafted. Devin Stone was drafted. Yes, he was. Was he our last pick? Stone might have been our last pick. So you got Rivers, Daka, Stone. It's more likely a DB. Think of Judon from college. Oh, okay. Because Judon went to a small school also. Okay. What's that? This website is lineups.com. And I'll give you the whole HTTP, whatever. It's lineups.com/NFL/rosters/Baltimore-Ravens. That's what it is. Now, let me see if I can blow it up for you. I already got it at 300. Nope, it won't blow up. The content blows up, but the URL won't blow up. But it's Baltimore. It's lineups.com. All right. Oh, I just searched rosters for Ravens, and it came up. This is what came up. I searched rosters for Ravens, and that's what came up. So just because you get drafted don't mean you make it, Stone. Just because you get drafted don't mean you make it. You got to beat out some of them UDFA's, and sometimes they come in a little bit more hungry. I think your early draftees almost a lock to make it, but that 5th, 6th, 7th round, you got to prove yourself. Especially that 6th and 7th round. Jay Witt, no, I'm not counting Ricard twice. I'm counting Ricard once because there's a guy on offense that plays a similar position that I'm probably going to put on my making the list Friday. Now, keep in mind, Troy, UDFA has made the Baltimore roster for the last 10 plus years. At least one UDFA has made the Baltimore roster at least the past 10 years. So they have a chance. And not saying, I'm not trying to talk bad about Stone, but just know those guys like Chauncey Rivers has a chance. Warrior has a chance. Go look at Warrior's highlight tape from Tennessee. Warrior has a chance. He played better competition than Geno Stone. And I'm not saying he's a better player, but Warrior held his own versus some good competition. Stone played in the Big Ten. Warrior played in the SEC. Our UDFA would be a tight end. Possibly. It's a good chance because we only have 2 on the roster right now, and we normally keep 3. So possibly. I think that's something good for today. What are we looking at time? Now, okay, we're good on time right now. 9:49. So I'm gonna start to wind this down. It went better than I expected. Actually got more content than I thought. And I appreciate you guys for being here and interacting and putting your 2 cents in, because this is our show. It's not just mine, it's our show. You guys help push the content. And again, if you got questions about what we talked about tonight or coming up things, and it don't have to be Ravens content. It can be any NFL team, and I'll do research on it. Because like Luis sent questions in that were mostly Green Bay Packers related. He asked about the running back Dylan from Boston College, and he asked about it wasn't the Packers. He asked about the Bears too. He asked about Mitchell Trubisky. So his questions were NFC North related. That's what it was. Not Green Bay Packers. His questions were NFC North related. So again, get your questions in, sip2tally@gmail.com. SIP, the number 2, TALLY@gmail.com. And they could be answered, depending on how many we get, they could be answered Friday on Friday Night Vibes. And that'll be the next time I come to you guys. You'll probably get a video out of me before Friday, maybe, probably, I don't know, depending on my teaching load. And hit the like button. 40 people in here, we got 20 likes. Hit that like button before you get up out of here. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed. Share. We on the road to 4K. That's where we headed. 4K. We about 85 away, 84 away. So share. And I'll see you guys live Friday Night Vibes, but you'll probably get a video before then. I appreciate you guys. It's Coach Evans with Sip to Tally Films. See you when I see you. Peace.